So let us wrap up our discussion of the CAPM by looking at a few more worked out problems. So suppose that you have got asset K, which has an expected return of 8% and a beta of 2, and a stock J, which has an expected return of 8.5% and beta of 3. Assume that the market's expected return is 5% and the risk-free rate is 3%. So based on this information, can we say that which stock is a better buy? And as a hint, we should perhaps start out by looking at what's the alpha of each stock. So if you remember the definition of alpha, so this is basically the difference between the expected return, which is given to us, and the expected rate of return, which is implied by the CAPM. So how can we go ahead and do these calculations? So let's first think about stock K. So we are given that beta is 3. We are given market's expected return is 5% and risk-free rate is 3%. So the risk, we can calculate the equity premium. So that's going to be 2%. So 2% into 3 is the part that you end up getting. So sorry, 2% into 2. So that's the 4%. And then again 3%. So 7% is basically the number that you would have got from the CAPM, right? So this is the 7% that you see here. Again, just to repeat, how do you get this? So remember, it's going to be the risk-free rate. So that's the 3% plus beta times the risk premium, right? So beta was 2 and risk premium is 5% minus 3% or 2%. So 2 into 2 is 4%. And that's how you end up getting this 4% here. And so therefore, using this definition, now the alpha for this stock is going to be 8% minus this. So it's 1%, right? So it tells us that basically this is something where you have got something, it lies above the security market line. Okay, what about alpha of stock J? So again, we do the same thing. We know what's the expected rate of return. That's the 8.5%. Okay, so that's here. We know how to calculate the expected rate of return according to CAPM. So that's going to be the risk-free rate. So that's the 3% plus beta times the equity premium, right? So beta is 3, equity premium is 2%. So you end up getting the 6% here. And so alpha is something like minus 0.5%, right? So again, from here, you end up getting that this is basically an example of an underpriced stock, stock K, and stock J is overpriced. And so therefore, basically, you should actually end up buying stock K, right? So that is a better buy. All right. So next, look at the next question. So suppose that the risk-free rate is 5% and the expected return on the market portfolio is 10%. A firm is considering a project that is expected to have a beta of 1.5. So what's the required rate of return on the project? And the second part is if the expected IRR of the project is 15%, should it be accepted? So what's the required rate of return? So we can directly plug in these numbers in the CAPM formula. So we end up getting that this is the risk-free rate, 5%. This is beta, 1.5 times the equity premium, which is 5%. So therefore, you end up getting that this is 12.5%. And since this 12.5% is actually less than 15%, so remember the criteria for taking up projects under this IRR rule. So that should have been more than 15%, right? But it's actually 12.5%. And so therefore the project should not be accepted, right? Since this is the expected IRR is higher actually than the rate that we have determined. Okay, let's look at one final question. So suppose that you have a pharma company which is working on new medicine and so if you are thinking of buying a share of this company, this is going to result in a random payoff depending on whether the new medicine is popular or not, right? So if the medicine is popular, then the share price of this company is going to go up. But if it's not, then the share price is going to be low, right? So there's this uncertainty. And suppose that the expected payoff from buying this stock today is going to be 1,000 after 1 year, right? Now, assume also that we have an idea of what's the standard deviation of the rate of return, and it's quite high, right? So suppose it's 40%, and suppose that the beta for this kind of stock is 0.5, the risk-free rate is 10%, and the expected rate of return on the market portfolio is 20%. Okay, so the question is, what should be the price of the share if we were to use CAPM to price it? Now, since we are talking about pricing of the asset based on CAPM, so what we need to look at is the pricing form of the CAPM that we have discussed before. So this is, remember, the expression that you had before. And now we actually can see that we have all the terms that are required in order to price this. So expected value of Q is 1000. So that's the numerator. Risk-free rate is 10%. And here you have got beta is 0.5 given and the risk premium is 10%, so 0.1, right? Notice that this 40% is not playing a role anywhere, right? So this again goes back to the point that the particular standard deviation does not matter once you have taken into account beta and all these other things, right? And based on that, you can kind of like go ahead and do the calculations and you will see that this is approximately around 870, right? So this is again application in where we are, instead of looking at expected return, we are directly calculating the price of the security in question here.